The first thing to remember when you're creating Premiere projects is that every project you create should have its own folder where you put all of the resources you use. So I've created this folder, tutorial, general techniques, videos, and so this is where I will be putting all of my assets, so pictures, audio, video, and the files themselves. So every time you do a new assignment, make a new folder. Now in Premiere, you'll set new project. You'll give it a name. So this one is the initial setup and importing. And then of course you have to make sure you tell it where to go. So that was my tutorial. Select that folder, and then you can say OK. Alright, now let me minimize this so you can see it all a little better. Generally speaking, I either like to be in the editing or sometimes the assembly. Both of them basically show what I need. Assembly just gives you less that you even have to think about. So, import media to start. You have two options. You can go to File, and you can go to Import, or you can right-click and choose Import. And if you start to have a lot of files in here and you need to import stuff, you can always come up to this area and choose Import. Now, it's important that you have files, and they should be in this folder where I just saved this. So I'm going to pause for a second, go get a few files to work with, and come back. Okay, now I've got files in here, so I can go back into Premiere, right-click, Import. And then, of course, I have to go make sure that I find where all my stuff is. And I will just click that, and then if I hold down Control-Alt, I will deselect this, because you can't really import into itself. Say Open. Now the files are imported. If I click and drag and drop into here, it's set up based on this picture. So if I go to Sequence and Sequence Settings, it's 1920 by 1280. That was the size of this gold texture. I can even right click on it and choose Properties, and that's what it tells me. Okay, if that's not going to work for me, and there's the sequence is now right here, that's the sequence icon. If I need something very specific as far as size, then I would go File, New, Sequence, and then there are a whole lot of presets. I choose to usually go to Settings, and I look in my editing mode, and it basically has all those presets that were already there, kind of based on what sort of files you're using. But you also just have, if you click on something, you'll see that's very large because it's 4K. So DV24, if I look at that one, that's 720 by 480 at 23 frames per second, almost 24, not usually recommended. HDV, these ones tend to be good ones to use, as well as the DV and TSC. That one's pretty typical as well. So I can name my sequence. And okay, you've done the initial setup.